Are you ready? It's time for Sleeping Beauty from the Treasury of Fairy Tales. Long ago, a wise and loving king ruled a distant land. They were very happy, but they still wished for every day for a child to share their joy. One summer's day, the king and queen went down to the garden pond where it was cool. All around the water's edge were long cattails and beautiful water lilies. As the queen looked into the water, a large green frog jumped out. The frog looked up at the royal pair and said, "My king and queen, you have ruled with fairness and kindness, and for that I will grant your wish. Before the year has passed, you will have the child you long for." With a great splash, the frog disappeared into the water. Just as the frog had promised, a beautiful baby girl was born, and the king and queen ordered a celebration to welcome their daughter, whom they named Rosamond. A great feast was prepared, the likes of which the kingdom had never seen. The castle was decorated from top to bottom with streamers in blue, green, and gold. Court musicians wrote new songs to be played in the princess's honor. Invitations were prepared for nobility, landowners, artisans, shopkeepers, peasants, and the 13 fairies of the kingdom. Everyone in the land was asked to come. Well, almost everyone. For in the excitement and the flurry, a mistake was made. One invitation was mislaid, and that simple mistake was to change Rosamond's life. At the height of the festivities, the fairies gave Rosamond a special gift. One by one, they approached the child and offered her a magical promise. As she grew in size, she would grow in goodness. Just as the 12th fairy was about to present her gift, Mordra, the last and most powerful of all fairies, stormed in. It was her invitation that had been misplaced. Mordra shouted fiercely, "You have insulted me, so you will suffer. Before your precious Rosamond reaches her 16th year, she will prick her finger on a spinning wheel spindle and die." The 12th fairy rushed to Rosamond's cradle. My gift is this, sweet child," she proclaimed. "You shall not die, but rather fall into a deep sleep that will end by the promise of true love." Years passed, and each day Rosamond grew to be more wonderful, just as the fairies had promised. She was sweet, gentle, and quite beautiful. Unlike even the simplest child in the kingdom, though, Rosamond did not know what a spinning wheel was, for she had never seen one. The king and queen had long ago ordered that they all be removed from the castle. On the eve of her 16th birthday, Rosamond was exploring the palace, as she was accustomed to doing, and came upon a staircase that went up an old tower. In a small room at the top sat a gentle-looking old woman at a spinning wheel, spinning the most delicate shimmering thread Rosamond had ever seen. "Good day," said the polite Rosamond. "Whatever are you doing?" "I am just spinning," replied the woman with a sly smile. Rosamond did not realize that the hag was really Mordra, nor did she realize the danger she was in. Curious, she reached out to touch the wheel and begged, "Oh, please let me try." In that instant, Mordra's evil wish was fulfilled. Rosamond pricked her finger on the spindle and spilled a single drop of blood. As the wicked fairy laughed, Rosamond slumped to the ground. She was not dead, as Mordra had hoped, but lay in an enchanted sleep. As a part of the 12th fairy spell, a deep sleep also fell over the whole castle. The horses in the barn, the kittens in the courtyards, the pigeons on the rooftops, all nodded right off where they were. The cook fell asleep as he stirred his big pot of soup on the hearth, and the guards all snored loudly at their posts. Even the king and queen slept, upright and proper, as they sat on their thrones. Mordra, angry that her plan had been thwarted, caused a thick, tangled hedge of razor-sharp thorns to surround the castle. "Let the promise of true love pass through that," she cackled. From village to village, stories were told of the fairies placing Rosamond on a special bed as she lay in magical slumber. Many young men had tried to reach Rosamond, but none could pass the thorny edge. One day, a prince from a faraway land heard the story of the Sleeping Beauty. Prince Evan was a bold and adventurous young man, and something about the story aroused his curiosity. He did not know why, but he felt sure that he must find this princess, and he set off at once. After many days of hard riding, Evan came to the thorny edge. As he reached out to push away a branch, flowers burst forth from every part of the hedge, and the branches parted to make a path to the castle. Evan rushed into the courtyard. To his amazement, every living thing in the castle was fast asleep. Over the purring kittens, around the snoring guards, past the sleeping king and queen, up the tower stairs he ran. At the top he found Rosamond, asleep on her bed. Dazzled by Rosamond's beauty, Evan knelt down and gently kissed the girl's cheek. Rosamond's eyes opened, and the first thing she saw was the face of the prince. "You have broken the spell," she said, and in you I see the promise of true love." The two walked back to the castle, and, as if by magic, life began to stir about them once again. The kittens stretched and yawned. The horses rose clumsily, then whined and swished their tails. The pigeons began cooing and flapping their wings. The cook resumed stirring his soup, while the guards stopped snoring and stood at attention. The king and queen awoke to find Rosamond and Evan standing before them. The 12th fairy's gift had indeed come to pass. Rosamond and Evan were wed soon after, and the young couple departed for the prince's homeland, where they lived happily ever after. The end. Oh, that was adorable. Good night.